again?
Afekome.
Afekome. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to YNaija and CC Hub's election war room. My name is Cheta Wanze. I'll be your guest host. The real host here is Kolapo Olakuju. I will be leaving to run around Lagos the way journalists tend to do, seeing what is happening. I would have preferred to have been in River State, where there will be a very sweet election. Unfortunately, my wife, who is my real boss, forgets what any other person thinks, decided otherwise. So that's the end of that. We have our guest here, Afe Afekome. Afe, do you want to tell us a bit about yourself?
Okay, I'm a geologist by profession. I'm from Edo State.
Do you work in the oil industry?
Yes, I work in
Shell, Chevron?
No, just an individual servicing company.
Oh, no, the same now, oil industry. So I'll ask you for pocket money now.
When we finish.
Okay. So Afe is here. He has a keen interest in politics, like anybody who went to Uniben. I will know I went to Uniben myself. And he has that keen interest, that keen mind. So he's here to help Kolapo and myself and the other person who will come later in the day after the elections for the roundup to see what is happening. You can call us on 0903-269-0704. Once again, 0903-269-0704. So the elections have started in different parts of the country. Accreditation process has started. In some parts of Lagos at the moment, INEC officials have not arrived. We know for a fact that in Jigawa State, because of the non-arrival of materials for House of Representatives elections, the elections there for that particular office have been postponed. What do you have to say about INEC's preparedness and the whole process generally?
Okay. In 2011, I had the privilege of working as an ad hoc staff for INEC during my years in Kogi State. And I understand the late arrival of materials. Sometimes from the venue, from the local government, when you take materials to the polling units, it's always a long distance, and you have to maneuver through many things. So I understand that they may not necessarily have to come very early. In terms of preparedness, I think INEC has done a very good job. Yeah,
this time around.
Yeah, this time around, yeah. Unlike maybe February 14th or something, all compared to 2011, are better. But there will be one or two areas where they miss it, like the Jigawa case. I think it's just a one-off.
Yeah, so far it's been a one-off. Now, Kolapo, what do you have to say about the candidates in the elections? Yes, everybody seems to think that this is just a presidential election, but hey, viewers, remember that this is not just the presidential election. This is election today is for presidents, senators, members of the House of Representatives. All the federal positions are being voted for today. So the question I would like to ask you is, who is your House of Reps candidate? Who is your Senate? Who are you going to vote for the Senate? Do you know who the person is? Now, Afe, let me ask you a question, and I'll come back to you. We still have that angle. Do you have your PVC?
Okay. I think it's an indictment on myself because I was part of the INEC team that did the registration in 2011. I'm supposed to have mine, but I registered in Kogi and I could not transfer it to Lagos.
So which is it an indictment on yourself or on INEC?
Myself.
Why are you letting INEC go? So because you work for them?
No. Because I didn't really make the effort. I was too occupied with work. I did not make the effort.
Big money from all companies. Can you see it?
No. I couldn't. I did not make the effort to get it.
Okay. So basically, you think that INEC did a good job with regards to PVCs?
I think it's above average.
Above average. Now, Kolapo, let's get back to your question. The candidates. Okay. What do you think of the chances of, say, Chekwa Sokore?
He's a dark horse. I think he doesn't even qualify to be called a dark horse. He's an outsider in this race.
Okay. So who are the genuine contenders?
In the presidential election?
Yes.
Muhammadu Buhari of the APC and President Jonathan of the PDP. Up until now, up until 6 weeks ago, the momentum was seemingly with Buhari until Jonathan started going around doing a lot of late campaign, which everyone thinks has helped him in a way. So basically, right now, the momentum is not really with him, but the field is balanced now, so to say. Now it's more of a 50-50 as opposed to how it was 6 weeks ago. Though many will disagree that it's 50-50 because PDP supporters will say, oh no, we have the edge, and APC will say the same too. But right now it seems to be 50-50. No one can accurately predict what will happen.
Which brings us to a question, Afe. The attitudes of Nigerian supporters really seems to be one of, we are definitely going to win. Is that the right attitude to have going into a contest where someone has to lose? That's that simple.
The Nigerian man is averagely very confident, and sometimes he throws that confidence around. Nobody assumes or nobody goes into a war with the mindset that you want to lose. So the overconfidence, so as it were, that we have that so I have to win. It's good in one way, but there's a downside. You have so much emotional investment, which may lead to maybe violence, as the case may be eventually, if your candidate loses, or sometimes depression and everything. It's not a good one. It's not a good one to be overconfident.
It's not a good one to be overconfident. Those words from Afe, dear watchers, dear viewers, is something that you should have in mind. At the end of the day, the fact is this is an election. Someone will win, someone will not win. And we must remember, no matter what, that we have a country to rebuild. I'll be taking my leave at this point in time. Duty calls. So I'll leave both of you with it. And then once in a while, we'll call, we'll talk. Remember, the number is 0903 2690704. Welcome to YNaija's War Room.
Thank you, Cheta, for kicking off the war room. Viewers and listeners, we are with you for the rest of the day and beyond till the election and voting is over. Once again, I have with me Afe, who will be co-hosting with me until we are done with all this, basically. So accreditation has started in some places. So they say we're expecting our viewers and listeners to call in and tell us what's happening in their areas. So far, it's going smoothly, and we haven't gotten any report of itches. And you said something before that INEC did above average in the PVC distribution. Do you think at this point in time above average is good enough? Don't you think we've gotten to a stage where we should begin to yearn for more than above average?
When I said above average, I just wanted to place it.
Okay.
From statistics, from what they released as at 21st, I think it was like close to 82% distribution rate.
Okay.
And you and I know that for any exam, if you get 82, that's an A. So it's actually above average, and it's excellent as it were. But the 18% that are not collected represents, like, I think maybe up to 15 or 13 million voters. For this kind of election that's so closely contested, that's very significant. But they did well.
Yeah. Did you, for like 2-3 weeks after the election was postponed, there was a lot of discourse that Jega may or may not be removed for one reason or the other. But we are here today. He wasn't removed eventually. What do you think? If he had been removed, what do you think would have happened?
Nigeria is a country where there's so much news, there's so much noise of doomsday, of the worst will happen if this happens. Eventually, nothing may happen. If he had been removed, I think it would have shown, it would have not made the election dead on arrival, not free and fair from even before the actual election. Yeah, because the opposition party we cry foul that it's not a level playing ground. Jeddah, for one, is seen as a very credible umpire,
Okay.
of very strong personality, and who has a name to protect. So if a person like the guy was removed maybe 2-3 weeks to the election, it would have not meant well for the election. But I don't think there would have been violence. I don't think there would have been violence. Yeah, there would have been opera, yeah, in some places, some part of the country, but being the Nigerians that we are, there would have been nothing.
We'll take it and move on as always.
As always, like we've always done.
Why do you think it wasn't removed? Do you think the pressure got to the federal government?
I actually think, yeah, the pressure got to the federal government. The opposition party, we must give it to the APC, they've really done well in terms of, it seems they always preempt the federal government. Anything federal, like I heard Alai Mohammed saying on radio that the publicity secretary, that they have sympathizers at every echelon of this government. Meaning, if there's any discussion the government makes in their bedroom, there's someone to give them information. Whether the removal of Jega was true or not, I think they did well to make sure it did not happen. And I think pressure from the international community too. We have the Secretary of State for the US, John Kerry. We had Obama giving us a message. We had Joe Biden taking court twice. So the pressure from the international community was high. I'm sure that's why the federal government thought, please, there's no need for this.
But before the election was postponed, there was a lot of pressure from international bodies and national bodies and regional bodies that they shouldn't attempt it. But the federal government went ahead to postpone it.
Yeah, the president said postponing the election was to avert some crisis. Okay. I agree. If the election was conducted February 14th, I can only envisage what would have happened. Like, consider a state like Ogun State, where they had just 40% collection rate for PVCs. Excuse me, you're going to enter an election with that. And there were many, INEC was not fully prepared. Yes, they said they were ever ready. Yes, you are ever ready. You can always do something. But what will be the success rate eventually? So I think if it were not postponed, it would have not been too good for us.
So what should we expect today? You know, now everyone, like many people, like you say, we are doomsday prophets in Nigeria. I think it's part of our nature.
Yeah.
We expect the worst and we preempt it sometimes. Now there are many people who are holed up in their houses. They won't come out to vote because they are scared of violence. Because there's been this intense disaffection between both major parties in the whole campaign of calumny, propaganda, personal and verbal attacks. You know, serious stuff. Never in the history of Nigeria has electioneering season been this intense. Now people are scared, which is the ripple effect of everything that's happened, that's led down to here. Don't you think their campaign led to a voter apathy of sorts?
To an extent, yes. The voter apathy will be mainly due to the fear, like you rightly mentioned. People are scared that there will be violence. Some people don't believe in the process. Some think we already know the winner. Yeah. Some think those people think their vote will count. Some think they have nothing to lose. Some are too religious to vote. They don't believe in voting. Others are just being careful. But yes, the campaign led to this because of the attacks on, instead of dwelling on the issues, they dwell more on the people. It's led to that atmosphere of fear everywhere. The voter apathy, it will still be skewed somehow. I think in places like the North, there will not be voter apathy. I think the North are the ones that really want this election. They feel they've suffered so much in the past 4, 5, 6 years. And they think they want to make a statement with this election. The North, I don't think there will be voter apathy. But in the South, they don't have anything to lose. There's this my brother's sentiment, but they feel, excuse me, why should I put myself in harm's way because for nothing? Yeah. And it's actually a disadvantage to the ruling party, where they are stronghold, supposedly. The South is the South. There's fear. In a state like Rivers, I think Rivers delivered the highest number of votes to the PDP in 2011. They had like I think they gave 1.8 million votes to the PDP. And Rivers State is for me, the number one flashpoint, the state with the highest fear factor or the darkest atmosphere of fear. People are scared in Rivers, and every day. And why not? Because we get news every day. They give the governor allegedly convoy was allegedly fired at. Everybody is at risk. So, and if people in Rivers, where supposed to be the president's stronghold, don't want to come out, and I wonder what will happen. So the campaign, the Smith campaign, would have maybe, I don't know, both parties were guilty of Smith campaign, but I think for me personally, I think the PDP did it, went extreme.
Overkill.
Yeah, they went extreme. So the Smith campaign eventually has backfired on them, where your people don't want to come out.
So you think it will affect who the most?
I think it PDP, because I don't think not are scared of coming out to vote. I think it's out.
So regardless, they will be out there to vote.
I personally think the higher vote population come out from the north.
So,
but the south now.
Where do you think is President Jonathan's strongholds, where he has a greater chance?
I think unlike 2011, where Rivers gave him his highest
number of votes.
Yeah. I think this time, because Rivers will be divided, I asked a few friends, because I had the privilege of staying in Rivers State last year. I asked some few friends, they said like 65-35 PDP. And that's very significant for a state that delivered like close to 95% to you last time. Like that divided. So Rivers is out of it this time. The next place, I just read this morning that Delta State achieved 2 million votes. The PVC is distributed. Wow. I think that's where most of his votes will come from.
What of Buhari?
Buhari, Kano. Yeah, last time he had 1.6 million votes from Kano. I think Kano has the highest voters
PVC collection rate
this time. Unlike Lagos, we are too busy. We used to come out to collect our card.
Indeed.
Yeah, so Kano has like over 4 million. And last time President did very well there. There are many stories that people said the votes were put there. That's for the electoral umpire to know. But then Buhari had 1.6. This time I think we have more than that.
So from what indications?
The Kano is a stronghold of, some people call it the political capital of Buhari. And the governor there is so popular. Because I personally admire him. He's very popular, he's a grassroots person. And I think those people want to make a statement. So I think that will give Buhari, but I don't know the margin of victory there. But I think it will be Buhari's, most of Buhari's vote will come from that place, or a greater percentage of his vote will come from Kano. Then Delta for President Jonathan. That's what I think.
Okay, Delta due to the Udwan factor.
Udwa, in Delta State, I'm from Edo, so I know it, and I have friends in Delta. Udwa is not really I'm sorry to call it. It's not really a people's governor, like compared to maybe Oshumole, to Rochas, to those people that the people who can stick out their necks for. Udwa is not really. I think it's just the fact of what we President Jonathan there is. That my brother sentiment. They have the highest number of votes there in front of the South Atlantic, apart from River State, and my brother sentiment. Yes, there are reports of the Shekiris that they are not, because they have three major
Shekiris or Robos.
Yeah, the Robos. The APC guy, Ortega, is from Robo, but I think to not make too much difference. The Shekiris, there are reports that the Shekiris are not really too happy with President Jonathan, especially regarding the gas city. Yeah. But he eventually commissioned it yesterday, but I read online that they don't care whether he commissioned it or not. But I think no matter what, he will still get more votes there.
Okay, now to the real issues. PDP is preaching continuity. APC is preaching change. President Jonathan says he has done some things, that he has achieved a lot. But the fact that Nigerians don't really know he has achieved a lot is because they are not putting it out there in our faces. Don't you think that is a disservice to himself and his government by whomever is supposed to do that? Like, you have no excuse not to put it out. That's on one side. On the other side is, has he really done a lot? has he really done enough to warrant people to vote for him, to give him another 4 years at the helm of affairs?
Okay, with that sounding two parties, with that, I have a bias. Maybe from the way I talk, you may have sensed it.
I may not sense it. I mean, without clueless. So
Okay.
maybe you have to state your bias.
Okay. President Jonathan did something. There's no president, there's no leader that will not do anything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm from Edo State, like I said. From 1999 to 2007, we had Lucky Gbenedion. People used to say Lucky didn't do anything, but he paid salaries. But everybody did something. President Jonathan, to me, did something. Sure, did. I think the agricultural sector. I don't have too much statistics from that sector, but from what we hear, I think they did well there. He made some stuff, but I think the core things, the key things that really affect Nigerians, were left unattended to. And security, which is his number one mandate. I think the number one business of government, is to secure the people and make them prosper. That's what I believe a government is. Every other thing is secondary. The primary business of government should be secure your people, make them live, and make them prosper.
I think you didn't do enough in those regards.
No, I don't think you did right. Security, we had more than 10,000 people dying, losing their lives under this administration. We have more than 1 million people displaced in the north. I mean, that alone is an indictment. As far that he has done a lot and is not really out there, I think that's a slap on his media team. You may do much and it's not out there. The problem is not we that you claim you've done it for. It's the people you hired to put the word out on the street. They've not done that. Yeah, they didn't do that. The reason they didn't do that may be because maybe, like they always say, yes, there are very many people trying to sabotage it. Mm-hmm. That may be one reason. Another way is maybe they really had nothing to show. Maybe they
had nothing to sell.
Maybe they really had nothing to sell. That's it. Then, if you and for the another thing they got, I think their strategy from the start, their campaign strategy was wrong. It was wrong. Yeah, they spent too much time, too much resources on the opposition. They spent too much time on trying to hit on the weakness of their opposition instead of concentrating on their strength. Mm-hmm. I think that was one of them. So that's why the word is not on the street. People don't know. They say if you want to see President Jonathan's achievement, go to NTA. You won't say it on the street. You have to go online to see it.
But there was a late rally in the past 6 weeks. I started pushing a lot of things out, so much information about the things he has done in agriculture, which I believe that Jonathan has done quite a lot in agriculture. He has empowered a lot of farmers. He has given Akinwumi Adesina, the Minister of Agriculture, the free hand to do a lot of things. Someone who is bright on a good day, and then giving him the freedom to work and resources to work. So I believe he has done a lot there, and he should have capitalized on that, despite the fact that he has a lot of issues with power and security, areas which are key, but he didn't really address well enough. He should have capitalized on his own agriculture. Okay, so later on, there was a late rally, started for 6 weeks, which is why many people still feel the postponement, in spite of the reasons that INEC gave, was largely due to the fact that they took stock and they realized that they had to catch up. Then they came up with a blueprint to catch up in 6 weeks. So true, the multinational joint task force operation was ongoing against the Boko Haram, as well as the renewed campaign of Jonathan. If you notice, in the past 6 weeks, APC has been quiet. Yeah, really quiet. Yeah. And many watchers, many analysts say that is why the momentum seems to have changed, to have shifted from them to the president. Why do you think APC was that quiet in the past 6 weeks? Many attribute it to running out of funds.
I think they have a point. You can never in terms of money, outrun a sitting government.
Okay.
They have everything working for them. Your position, everybody needs money to win an election. Your position, I think they had a war chest, which they had to manage. Yeah,
Yeah.
they had to manage for that 6 weeks. I think maybe in the final week before the postponement, they actually pumped in more money for the final onslaught.
Yeah.
But that 6 weeks, they had to reassess their funds and their approach. So I think they had to slow down until maybe last 2 weeks before they started coming out again. Yeah, I think they ran out of money, as it were. They wanted to prioritize. They wanted to put their money, their limited resources to where would be most useful and at the appropriate time.
Okay.
So that's it. Then, as far a PDP taking over the momentum, I like to compare it to Chelsea and Man City, the race between Chelsea and Man City.
This season or last
This season,
Okay.
Chelsea has been on top from the beginning.
Mhm.
Maybe from November or something till now. Yes, there are sometimes Man City puts up this challenge, like when Chelsea, they even both of them had to become on. They were on the same points. The only reason Chelsea was above was because of alphabetical order, because they were C and Man City was them. That's why they were number one. They got that close, but eventually Chelsea still took over. Yes, the PDP has gotten so close this past 6 weeks. They've turned the momentum around. I agree. The moon slide that the opposition would have had has been reduced to a landslide.
Oh, wow.
They are still coasting. I think
The moon slide has been reduced to a landslide. So
I think they are still in front.
In essence, you are still predicting a landslide. So if it had been February 14, it would have been a moon slide, a total whitewash.
Yeah. No, I don't want to predict that, but I'm just trying to say, yes, the gap has been closed, but the opposition is still in front. I'm not saying it will be a landslide eventually, because after doing some analysis, I had to draw back.
Okay.
Yeah. But I think, yes, the gap has been closed, but the opposition still has a slight edge.
Okay, so this is the thing. From day one, the opposition has always been crying foul over the intended plans of the government.
Yeah.
So they knew about this election postponement. They suspected it for a long time. So why did they not plan towards it? Why didn't they do that? Because that's something that they are suffering from now, for not planning towards it. Because you saw it coming, you heard that, oh, this might happen. And this is a government that actually goes ahead to do things that they say they will do, good or bad.
I think the opposition, why they did not go, they had no choice. They really had no choice. The reason given by INEC, security reason, there's no period, for example. A friend of mine was telling me, oh, the opposition would have not allowed INEC shifted the election. I said, what would you have done if INEC would have not shifted the election? Like, what if you were Jega, what would you do? The security chiefs wrote to you. The security chiefs wrote to you that they will not be ready for the election.
Okay.
And you want to stubbornly go ahead with it and put people's children. Just assume one of your child is a core member. Would you allow them to participate in an election where the securities are not present?
Okay.
The opposition, what I'm trying to say is that the opposition had nothing to do about it. Their hands were tied.
So they couldn't have had a makeshift plan, reorganize their plan that, okay, we're running out of funds and these people, they want to postpone by 6 weeks. Fine, it's according to the grapevine, it's not certain, but this is a government that from president, from their presidents, that they always do what they say they will do, or what is rumored that they will do. So why not plan towards it? They did.
I think they did what they did, but the strategy was this for me. I think they had to reduce their advertisements. So PDP was catching up because of lack of resources. Then you see their presidential candidate Buhari had to go to the UK for 10 days, more than 10 days. They went to the UK for the Chatham speech, which actually gave Buhari so much international acceptance.
Which many say created a subtle disconnect between him and people who are already getting to connect with him, voters.
In
Nigeria, like
okay,
his absence allowed the PDP gain ground. Many say that.
I think they have a point. I think they have a point, but there are many elements to this, and the international community is a very important element. And there's this, I don't know if it's true, that the international community did not like Buhari because of his because of the
antecedents,
because of the Marudico's stuff when he was head of state, and they needed to correct that. And the Chatham House the speech was a very important, it was a very unique opportunity to do that. So they had to fire from all cylinders. That was one. Yes, there was no need to disconnect from the voters here, but for me, I think there was really nothing they could do. Yeah, they would have been doing, maybe they were doing some grassroots mobilization and everything, but to have maybe major rallies would have been not wise, considering your if you look at your backings, your financial resources.
Okay. This is YNaija Situation Room. My name is Kola Kolapoju. My guest, my co-host for now is Afe Kume. He's a geologist by occupation. So you can call in and contribute and join the discourse and conversation through 090-32690704. 090-32690704. Accreditation has started in some areas, while other areas not yet. Like you said, INEC, the materials, you said they could be excused for getting late, but couldn't there have been a plan for not getting late? Like, couldn't have been done overnight or last night or very early?
There are reports that INEC at, I don't know how true, at Agege local government, the materials were actually attacked.
When?
Last night.
Okay.
Sure. But that the security agency successfully repaired it.
them.
Or I just want to use that to make an example. You can't just spread the materials last night everywhere, and you stretch the security. It's not wise. Everybody has to be in one place and generally protected. From there, that's where we distribute the next month. So we can't say, okay, let's take it to Baba Elaje's. People unit close to Baba Elaje's house. Let's take the material to Baba Elaje. That's not safe. Let's take that one to Iya Kolade's place or something. That's still not safe. So everybody has to be in one place. And some of those places may be very far from the respective units.
But what if they had left earlier, like pre-planned?
You know, these things are logistics. You have a problem where the driver did not come on time. There's the car refused to start. They were waiting they want to go as a unit. One of the core members didn't come on time. One of the officials. There are many parts to this.
But I still believe it could be avoided if. Well, I believe as our democracy grows, we will get it right. Yes. So our correspondent from Ibadan, Adedayo Fanio, he just said more policemen have arrived at the polling booth where accreditation is about to commence. They've arrived and they've asked them to keep their phones and told them not to take pictures.
Okay, that's new. I thought INEC advises that you can use cameras.
They said they should not take pictures.
At what
Ibadan.
That's new. Maybe that's how they measure they want to put in place.
But that now brings us to the military and the policemen factor in this. They can tend to go out of their purview, out of what they are assigned to do.
Yes.
Right now, this is not stuff they should do, telling people not to take pictures. Anyone is allowed to take pictures or even film a polling booth, what's happening there. But now, they're saying they should not take pictures. Do you think they are really necessary to enforce order in polling booths or to interfere? They can enforce order, but do they have to interfere?
Once a rule is given from the top and it starts spreading, the message circulates differently. And some of the security agents get so overzealous. They want to do it. They feel this the best way. They don't. Some of them may not even know the basic rules that INEC are put in place, but they just want to make sure there's security.
Okay.
Their approach is they feel this is the way we should do it. It means sometimes maybe a cake, sometimes maybe out of sensitivity with the youth as it were.
Okay.
But that's the best way they think they can do they can do it. So yes, it may not be good, it may not be legal, but I think that's what the policeman out there wants, which is not legal. But I think just to avoid crisis, they should have to obey.
But do you think what crisis can come out of taking pictures and filming what's happening? Isn't that supposed to be a citizen's right? It's not part of the whole freedom of information.
Yes, I agree with you. There's no harm to it. Eventually, the policeman will be too busy to even know.
To even know.
Picture.
Okay, so right now in centers in Lagos, accreditations are going on, and
That's a good one. That's really okay. This is 9:13 because Chinese this morning. I was hearing Chinese that president by 8 president at the president's polling unit there was no accreditation yet. So but I don't know how far they've come now.
oh, so something else came in now. Only primary school at Adesola. Where exactly is that? That Lagos. That there are no officials at all. INEC officials have not arrived, and this is 9:15, and voting is supposed to commence
But no, voting by 1:30.
by 1:30. Okay. So no one is at the collation center, and the person who sent this in said is going back home to pick up his ID card.
Okay. But by 9, that's. But I think Jega said it's not cast in stone. Once the officials come, as long as you're on the queue, it's not like by 1:30, by 1 everything must stop. No, as long as you're on the queue, be accredited.
So,
and as long as you're accredited, you vote eventually. So that time they just go past 1:30.
So as still suffering from the Nigerian factor thing, it applies to every situation.
Yeah, I just imagine what the newspapers will be saying tomorrow: delays, late arrival of post, more election. But I don't know if this is the general feeling across the land, the general occurrence across the land. But that's still just a one-off. Or we expected them to happen.
Now, speaking of one-off, the Jigawa incident, where the election has been postponed as it is.
House of Reps.
Yeah, for the House of Reps. I hope this will be a one-off. That's mine. Because when you said it was a one-off the other time, I said to myself, hopefully.
Yeah, 11 constituencies in Jigawa for just House of Reps, meaning they will do Senate, they will still do presidency, but just House of Reps, which I think is considered for 36 states. We've not had any reports from any other states regarding that of having similar problems.
So for
36 states, if you have 11 constituencies, I don't know how many constituencies we have in Nigeria, 11 constituencies in 36 states not doing an election. I think they are up to 400 and 300 and something constituencies. I think that's quite insignificant. And that's very significant. It will eventually be done. It's just House of Reps.
So it's excusable.
No error is excusable.
Okay.
But for human, we don't take INEC has not given any official reason why they had to.
Okay,
but
so
I think they had to.
We'll still wait on that, and then we'll give our own verdict based on what they say. When I was driving down this morning, there was a lot of soldier and military presence on the road everywhere. Like between 500 meters, you could see 2 to 3 checkpoints on every road that I came through. And I remember a federal high court like a couple of days ago passing saying that soldiers should not be used, the military should not be used. But I do not know the context of that judgment. Is it that they should not be used at all, or they should not be used to interfere with the electoral process?
I think I will not agree with the second one. Maybe I've not read the judgment too, but I think it says it should not. Maybe they should not but they should not be directly involved like the police. I think the police, for security cover for the election, the police is the number one. The primary, that's a primary responsibility for this election. The army is not supposed to. I think they are not just. I think there are 3 court judgments to that effect that the army should not be involved in the election, which is maybe the handling of the materials, escorting. Yeah, but I think, considering our security and nature of our country, I think we need the military. I give an example.
We need them to be involved in the process.
Not the process. Yeah, not the process. Just to be on the streets, make sure they are no troublemakers. Not in main process. Because there are two sides. Some people are scared of to come out when they see military. But some people are more confident to come out when they see military. In 2011, when as a couple, when we were doing election, there was I said the Kogi, okay, there was this perception which I later found out to be wrong, that okay, people, Igbira people, they are too violent, and that for election, for election they'll be very violent. But just the presence of the military alone made sure, just the presence of the military alone made sure everything went perfectly. Everybody behaved themselves. Just the presence, without even, and I don't think any military man will come and harass you if you are not doing something wrong.
So we need the military's presence to behave ourselves.
Yes. Well, so it's quite unfortunate that we need to be quote unquote forced to behave ourselves. Some people will be scared to come out because of the military. Why some people will be more confident? Like I think for Oshun, I heard there was security penalty. Some people wearing masks before they came out. Yeah, you see, some people may not come out, but some people will come out. Some people will not come out. Some people will not come out if they are not military. Or there's no military. Some people will not come out
because they won't feel secured enough to.
Others will not come out if there's military. So I think it's two sides of the coin. But I think from my experience, I think military should be involved just for security purposes, not for the electoral.
But after the judgment, President Jonathan told the courts that they should allow military.
I think for a democracy, the court, once the court says, I think it's supposed to hold. So I don't know if we are actually breaking the ruling. We are disobeying the court by having military. Because I don't know what the judgment says. But I think Jega said the military is not involved. It's just for security. I think Jega supports it, and I support it too.
So they are necessary.
Yeah. So from my experience, I think they are.
Okay. So now that accreditation in some places they are going on, in some places not so much. In some places they've not even arrived. Do you think Jega said something yesterday that in 48 hours then the results will be announced? Why should it take that long? Has it considered the fact that the time constraints, the delays, maybe has put that into consideration to say give us 48 hours, which is Monday?
Yeah. Okay. I think
because a lot of people were really suspicious about the 48 hours thing. Are still though, because 48 hours is a long time to do a lot of things. A lot of things can be damaged. A lot of manipulations can go on in 48 hours.
He said within 48 hours.
Within.
Which could be 1 hour.
This is Nigeria. When somebody gives you within 48 hours or in the next 72 hours, we're expecting him to actually deliver by 72nd hour.
Okay. But I want to paint this scenario. Assume these centers where, just imagine these centers that have not gotten INEC officials now.
Okay.
Eventually, before 12, let's just say before 12 they get. Before 12 they get INEC officials.
Yeah.
Then they do accreditation. Eventually, voting gets into late.
Okay.
They announce results by maybe 6, 7. Yeah. From the polling units, they will not take those results to the world level.
Yeah. Where they will collate. Yeah.
So, I mean, before you go through all this process, we are already in Sunday. For each state, we are already on Sunday morning. Then before we collect for the 36 states, we are already in Sunday evening. So I think Monday morning, to be more realistic, Monday morning will be the best time. Is within that 48 hours window. Monday, I think Monday is the most likely time.
It's justified for Jega to say.
Yeah, by Sunday morning, we would have got many results if people are interested. People that send the results would have gotten many results from different polling units here and there, and do our own unverified analysis and have our own verified results. But the official results takes a whole lot of logistics to collect. to collect from polling unit level, ward level, collation centers, the state level, then all the recs, all the state returning officers take it to Abuja, or then they take it to Abuja where Jeddah finally compiles. You have to do a lot of calculation, and I think they have to make sure the calculation is right, at least for legal case that will come up. Every number has to tally, so it's a whole lot.
But is there no system that can make all this faster? Why are we not embracing such systems? Why are we still going through
the Electoral Act forbids e-voting, which is quite unfortunate. But I think we'll eventually get there. If this card reader works, I think eventually people will be encouraged, or the INEC may be encouraged within these next 4 years to exploit the option of e-voting. I think for e-voting, there may be, I don't know how to run, but I think there may be maybe a central database where, as long as you are voting, INEC is getting the results first hand. Then it becomes very easy. It becomes very easy to collect. But for now, that we are still semi-manual or semi-digital.
It's really semi.
Yeah, we still have the card that's introduced into this election is actually a good one. At least a good start.
Well, it survived.
Yeah.
It survived this storm.
Yeah, after so much campaign against it.
So once again, it's election day, presidential election day, National Assembly, House of Representatives elections are holding today, Saturday, 28th of March, 2015. My name is Kola Poji, for those of you who are just joining us on YNaija Situation Room, and my guest and co-host is Afek Kume. Is a geologist and a political analyst and enthusiast of all things politics. Right now, information reaching us say that Muhammadu Buhari, the presidential candidate of the APC, has just gotten accredited at his polling unit in his hometown of Daura, Katsina. So that's good, and we're waiting for President Jonathan to get his own accreditation. So we know that, okay, they are good to go. But the important thing is for all voters to get accreditations, because they are not going to vote for themselves. So they might as well get accredited yesterday. If nobody gets accredited, they won't get their complete votes. Okay, with something just coming in says Adisa Bashua polling units. Officials have finally arrived and have set up. The presiding officer, a youth corper, asked to see the party agent. So the presiding officer, which is a youth corper, is having a brief meeting with the party agents at Adisa Bashua polling units. So hopefully accreditation will start there in the next couple of minutes after I must have had this brief meeting. So from what we are getting, from the figures we are getting, accreditation process is ongoing slowly, but it's ongoing.
Yeah. I mean, and it's a good thing. I think more polling units are getting
materials. Well, the whole Nigerian time thing, we can never get past it as it is right now. But hopefully at some point in the future, we will start to get past it, because we have to be known to keep time. We cannot always let time affect everything. There's hardly anyone who keeps the time in Nigeria. Hardly anyone. And it's very unfortunate, because there's a timetable and we are not keeping to it. But then it's to be expected, but it's not excusable.
It's not.
Okay, so now let's speak on the social media impact of this election. People say social media has really, really created a lot of awareness and conversation amongst Nigerians on this election, like unlike ever before. Like, now everybody is talking about it. There are so many Twitter conversations, Instagram, BBM, broadcast messages. Everyone is aware now in one way or the other. Though fine, there will still be information that will not trickle down to the last person, but everybody's aware of one thing or the other. Do you think social media has really helped? Because to an extent, social media can create an illusion of safety, which many attribute to Fayemi's loss at the Ekiti polls last year in June, which Fayose won, which is questionable now with the old rigging and with the tape, with the audio tape that came out, which hopefully at some point some government, if it's Jonathan or Buhari, will investigate it, because it needs to be investigated. We cannot sweep it under the carpet like we do many things. So back to the social media impact, the side effect of that illusion of, yeah, I'm safe. Because you should understand that Nigerians, most of us who are on social media shouting on Twitter, talking, don't actually go out to vote. Many don't. I won't say most, but I'll say some don't.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate that the people who actually go out to vote or strive under the sun, under the rain to get their PVC are the ones who are not on Twitter, or even if they are, they're passively on Twitter, like they are not active. So does it create that illusion and gives you, oh, like a lot of people are talking about me, I have a lot of following, there's a lot of buzz around me, I'm safe?
A good politician should know that there are different environments, that there's the online environment and the offline environment. And it's for a soldier, you should know that you have to win on all the fronts. So the fact that you're winning on online media doesn't mean you should just let your campaign concentrate on that place alone and leave the offline. When having both of them is perfect for you. Yeah. As for the impact, social media has really done a lot. I mean, information is shared, people becoming more aware, people becoming more involved, and nobody can say social media doesn't have impact. No, if it doesn't, for example, the president will now have three spokesmen on Twitter every day trying to convince the people that the president is the one. Or every day we won't see hashtags that are promoting the president if it's not as important as they say. So it's very important. It has led to very important, significant conversations. We see people getting more aware, involved, and interested. Yeah, now what we have to do now is you have to push it from online to the street to offline. And that's also on the same part is just assume, imagine you are on social media. You have a father, you have a mother, you have sisters, you have brothers, you have maybe within your circle there are like 10 people. If you get information from social media and you take those the remaining people, maybe 9 people are not online, you can share it with your people offline. That's 10 votes. For whoever, if you can convince your people. That's it. And just imagine the chain effects it can have if we can actually take it offline. The next part is now it's within the social media. Taking it offline is our next part. We have to get offline now. But because there's so much propaganda, so much misinformation everywhere put on social media. Sometimes what you hear on the street, you like, really, some outrageous claims on everything. Social media has been very impactful in this election. Every day we see hashtags, every day we see concept, and it has benefited for me. I think Buhari's campaign more. We see youth doing different things for him. Youth doing different things for him on social media. Just look at the fair, for example, the February concept. Just from nowhere, it was like a killer and everything. So social media has been very important, very useful for this election as never before for both parties. But I think the opposition benefited more
from it
because I think they got there first.
They got there first. Yeah. So the PDP came in later.
I think when PDP saw that, and so because sometimes social media actually force the hand of conventional media, actually forces the hand of government. When you see things on Twitter, the government is forced to respond. Something that is just going on in a virtual space, a virtual community. Yeah, the government, the real world as it were, we now have to come and comment. So that's the importance. So APC, maybe it was a strategy. You see, we had Erufais that he has been on Twitter.
Yeah.
He had Bukola Saraki. Yes. And I think most of their governors, the majority of their governors are on Twitter. They've come since they had people followership, they had conversation, they had quarrels, they had fights, they had everything, they had that passion, they had that let me say love for people already. So before the PDP ruling party had to come, I think those ones have already covered ground. So that's when they came. They had to start coaching people and stuff.
There's this argument from the PDP camp that APC is a social media party, that their support base is limited to social media, that they have nothing. Well, that's far-fetched, but they don't have much on ground. That's just social media. And to an extent, they may have a point because there is this lack of willingness for people on social media. Some, like you say, to actually go out to vote. I know quite a number of people who make noise on social media but are not voting today. They are holed up in their houses watching things unfold.
Yeah.
And then they've been making noise for the past few months.
Yeah. The PDP says APC is over on social media. I think they just say it based on what happened in Ekiti, which is quite unfortunate. That in Ekiti, I think on social media, Fayemi won by a landslide Ekiti, but when the result came, we saw that the opposite was the case. So I think that's where they all fought to. Yeah, it's Ekiti. But I think APC as a party should have learned from the Ekiti experience that yes, so it's not just about here. Here is important, but we should have to take it offline too. So I can't. You can't say APC is strong on their social media. Look at the followership they get when they go for campaigns. That's not social media. Look at the color of the campaign. That's not social media.
Why do you think there's no willingness for everyone to go out and get their PVC?
Let me take the case of Lagos. Lagos, people are too busy. Some people are not interested in election. So
Why?
they feel to count. They feel there's no need. There's some people feel disappointed from 2011 that people they voted for did not live up to their expectations. Some people are not interested. Some people feel the vote because of security concerns. Some people are too busy or they don't have time genuinely to collect their card. Some have been going and their cards are not being produced and they become frustrated. So there are quite a number of reasons why people are not collecting their cards. For Lagos, I think it's more of the we are too busy.
As at 2 days ago, as at yesterday, some people are still scrambling to get their PVCs. And okay, a few got, but not a few. Fine. No matter how much INEC says,
You can't get 100% collection.
they can't get 100%. Some voters will be disenfranchised.
Yeah.
Fine, it may be minimal, but some will be. Do you think there's a situation at some point that could make it avoidable? Like give out the PVCs a year before the election. Like why wait till last minute or why wait till months before the elections? Why not give it out a year before?
Yeah.
So everyone would have had their elections 6 months before, and their PVCs rather 6 months before the elections.
Yeah, true. I agree. Like Jagad said, after the voters registration and everything, you have to come up with an authentic voters register. And to do that, there were multiple votings. They had to many things that characterize the registration process. They had to clean up the database. They had to clean up. They had to
Wipe
take
off
off
everything.
and took a lot of time. I think they lost data for some places. I think they lost some data in Lagos, for example. Some people had to do a card again. So those are some of the challenges they encountered. Time to clean up. I think they gave out the contract for PVCs like 7 months ago. Time to do the PVCs and make it very very dark security wise. These are excuses, but I think they are genuine.
Genuine
I
excuses.
think they're genuine. And like Jega said, if we were, I think what Jega was right. If we were a quote unquote very matured nation, they can just post some PVCs. But if you start doing that now, there are many things that could go wrong. Eventually, we could do that. But for now, I think they've done their bits to a point where we can say, oh, at least they tried.
I'm going to speak with you before we take a break in the next 9 minutes. We'll talk about violence, but before then, viewers and listeners, this is YNaija Situation Room. We'll be on top of the election, the presidential election, National Assembly election, House of Representative elections, holding today. You can call in and contribute and give us information as well as state your opinions on issues, all kinds of issues. You can call in on 090-3269-0704. Once again, 090-3269-0704. My name is Kolakbo Olakwojo and I'm joined by Afe Kume. We'll be speaking on everything and anything related to this election. If there's any case of violence where you are at your polling unit, you can call in to us and report it, and then we'll talk about it and put the word out there. If there's any case of overzealousness of the force, of the military, of the police, you can call in. If there's any shady dealings in your polling units, any situation where you feel should be addressed, which you feel should be addressed, you can call in. We'll talk about it. We'll put the word out there to the relevant authorities. Once again, this is YNaija election situation room for the presidential election of 2015, as well as the National Assembly elections for the upper chamber and the lower chamber. So violence, back to Afekume, violence. Everyone has been talking about pre-election violence. We've had quite some instances of violence. Unfortunately, we've had some loss of lives. So the ones that we know about and the ones we don't know about from both parties. Don't you think we're at a point in our growth, in our democratic growth, where we should not be having so much violence?
Okay, well, we should come to a point. I think we are growing.
Okay.
We are growing. There's no justification for violence, and I think Nigerians are not naturally violent people. That's my
You think?
Yeah, that's my personal opinion. That's my personal opinion. What violence is actually caused by people's self-interest.
Okay.
Like no Nigerian or most Nigerians, sane Nigerians, no sane Nigerian will put himself in harm's way just to for no reason, just to prove a point for no reason. Most times it's a leader that has selfish interest. We just induce people with money and they will go and cause violence. Yeah. For me, I think security agencies, what they have to do is target such leaders. Once those leaders are caught, the wings of those leaders are caught, violence will come down. Nigerians will not naturally go violent because of anything.
Do you think there'll be violence today?
I can't say 100% peace, but there'll be more violence. There'll be much peace.
There'll be much peace.
We are getting reports that the president's card for accreditation, the president's card is not working. And that's
as his own card.
Yeah, it has taken 20 minutes to accredit him.
So he's still at the polling unit.
Yeah, I don't know if they resolved it now. And I think Vanguard is reporting that there's a card misfunction, one of the card reader misfunction, one of the polling units in Osun State. So stuff like this are starting to come up, which stuff like that may want to. If, for example, in the president's village now, they may start. They will think, they will sense, they will think they want to be disenfranchised. They will not sense foul play. I want to cause violence. Yeah, and stuff like that can cause violence. But I think violence will be, unlike has been painted around and thrown around, violence will be low.
So we don't know if it's been resolved, but the president's card is having an issue with being accredited.
Yeah, so there are news that took 20 minutes for him.
Okay.
I don't know if he has, but I think Barry has been accredited.
Yeah, Barry has been accredited. So we're waiting for President Jonathan to be accredited. This is YNaija situation.
I think it was live on channels. So the president's card not working. Card reader not working at president's polling unit. So
hopefully it will work. Because the card reader has undergone tests and everyone expects it to work. So at least at most places. Yeah. So we'll not have the issue of inconclusive election.
Yeah, because if the card readers don't work, I think for the card reader works in two ways. I think there's the verification and the accreditation.
Okay.
Yeah, the verification is to ascertain that the card came from INEC itself. Card is not cloned. The card came from INEC. If the card reader reads your card, yes, this card came from INEC, then and your fingerprints, there's an error, then you have to fill an incident form. We don't know the situation on ground for the president's case, whether maybe the card is rejecting it, or the card reader is fault itself, or the card is saying error. We don't know what's happening yet.
Okay, so information just coming in. Mrs. Osinbajo, that's the wife of the vice presidential candidate of the APC. Professor Yemi Osinbajo. She drove her husband to the polling unit in Etiosa, and as we speak, INEC is not there. no presence of INEC at their polling unit 24080433 Etiosa.
It's a place as sophisticated as Etiosa.
So no presence of INEC as at 9:24. That's 20 minutes, less than 18 minutes ago.
We don't know what's happening.
So we don't know what's happening there, but there's no INEC presence, which this is to 10.
Those are some of the some of the challenges we'll see going forward. But let's still give them time.
Hopefully things will be sorted and the president's card reader will work and
I just hope it has worked.
Because we cannot find he's not voting for himself, but still it says a lot if his card reader doesn't get accredited.
20 minutes.
If his card is this live?
Yeah, it's live on channels. I think it's taking time.
So the president is at his polling unit with the First Lady, Patience Jonathan, and they seem to be asking the INEC officials what is happening, and they are trying to sort it out. Hopefully, they will get that sorted soon. So we are going to take a break now. Yeah. We will be back with you in 15 minutes.
Okay.
To this election situation room of YNaija. My name is Kola Poju. I'm with Afekume. We're covering this election. We'll be on top of things. An election that is fraught with stomach infrastructure, propaganda, verbal attacks, and all sorts. We have never been in an electionary season like this in the history of Nigeria. This is intense, and this is where we are. Okay. We'll be back with you shortly.
Thank you. Okay. Are we gonna go offline now?
I think so. I don't know. I'll start. Come on, do some show. He has to. He really has to. They're still on there.